Tonight, more questions than answers.
Because of that, people are saying could be this, could be that. It's kind of upsetting that we don't really know what circumstance happened.
Questions swirl in Gimli after the town's mayor is suspended with pay and officials remain tight-lipped about what actually happened. Also tonight, a new twist in an investigation into a major power outage in northern Manitoba. Plus, bundle up.
Waiting for the bus is chilly, and I can't wait to get in.
What's in store and how you can prepare with Manitobans in the grip of a deep freeze.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Interlake residents are calling for more transparency tonight. This after Gimli Mayor Kevin Chud was suspended for 7 days. A public notice from the RM says an investigation into misconduct found several founded allegations. But what those are isn't clear. CTV's Harrison Shin was in the town of 6,500 people today and joins me live. So Harrison, what are people saying?
Well, they want answers about why their mayor is being sanctioned and what led to the investigation. They are calling for the RM to be open with them about what happened and how serious it was. Snow wasn't the only thing swirling around Gimli Monday. Speculation hit the coffee shop as residents tried to work out what led to their mayor being suspended.
I feel that there's a lot of things going on here that really I've questioned and never got answers for.
Debbie Fakes has made Gimli her home for the last 9 years. She says she wants to know what led to Mayor Kevin Chud's 7-day suspension and why the RM won't tell people like her what happened. She says it's hard to tell if the punishment fits the misconduct without more details.
Again, we don't know what he's done. And we don't know who came up with this weak thing.
It all started on Friday. A public notice was sent out saying an investigation into Chud's conduct started in March 2025 after a complaint was made. The RM hired an independent investigator, and that report found, quote, several allegations were found to be founded. The investigation found, quote, cause for sanctions related to the conduct of the mayor and certain council members. Sanctions were imposed, including a formal apology from the mayor to the complainant, mandatory training for all council members, a full review of the code of conduct and other policies. Messages and calls to Mayor Kevin Chud have not been returned. Back at the coffee shop, residents like Daphne Marcuson continue to speculate.
Everybody's assuming it's all kinds of different things. If we definitely knew, people would know, but because of that, people are saying could be this, could be that. It's kind of upsetting that we don't really know what circumstance happened.
CAO DJ Sigmerson was not available for an interview but sent this response in part, saying the process is confidential under the law. Manitoba's council members' codes of conduct regulation under the Municipal Act requires investigator reports, evidence, and findings to remain confidential except for what council is permitted to disclose. This protects complainants, witnesses, and the integrity of the process. But for Debbie Fakes, what happens on council is everyone's business. She has a message for the RM.
We would like you to be as open as you can with us because, like I said, it's really, really devastating that we have to find out through a paper and through an article that our small town is going through this with a mayor that we all elected.
We asked the Association of Manitoba Municipalities for comment on the situation. They were not aware of the specific complaint, but sent a statement saying generally they support transparency and accountability. Also, the association says they provide training and guidance for RMs like Gimli to build strong governance practices.
So could the mayor appeal this sanction then?
Well, merely under the province's Municipal Act, Chud does have the right to appeal, but the RM says given that the mayor is not active in his council duties, they cannot speak to his plans.
All right. Thanks for this, Harrison. New details tonight about what may have led to a days-long power outage on a northern Manitoba First Nation. A preliminary examination by Manitoba Hydro found firearm damage near the power line in Pimicikamat Cree Nation. The Crown-owned utility says an inspection of the wire that broke at the end of last month showed shotgun pellet damage to portions of the infrastructure, including the power line itself. But Hydro emphasizes it has not been determined definitively as what caused the line to break. That said, it's warning hunters and firearm owners not to shoot at any electrical infrastructure. The First Nation was without power for about 4 days when a 300-meter-long power line running between two islands in the Nelson River broke. The power went out during a cold snap, resulting in ruptured pipes, the evacuation of more than 4,000 residents, and the deployment of the Canadian Armed Forces. The province is launching a new initiative to help beef up security at churches, synagogues, and mosques.
When somebody commits a hate crime, they're committing a crime against all of us as Manitobans. There is no place for hatred in our society.
Places of worship and cultural centers can now apply for funding to help cover the cost of security upgrades like lighting, cameras, alarms, and controlled entrances. The $1 million enhancement fund will work similar to the security rebate programs introduced for homes and businesses last year. The announcement comes just weeks after symbols of hate were spray painted on a synagogue, mosque, and a high school in Winnipeg.
When you walk into your place of worship or your community center, you shouldn't have to worry about intimidation. You shouldn't have to worry about hate. We're seeing more and more acts of hate, of vandalism, and other acts across this country and here in our wonderful province as well.
The Canoe government also says it's establishing a security team to bolster community safety as part of the program. The province is accepting applications through email. You can find more details on our website. Just go to ctvnewswinnipeg.ca. Manitobans are locked in a deep freeze tonight, and this chill comes after a weekend of chaotic blowing snow and storms. Now the cold weather is putting a strain on shelters and vehicles. CTV's Jeff Keel is outside tonight, and Jeff, I'm almost afraid to ask, what's it like out there?
Well, obviously, Marilee, it's cold. You can see your breath. There is a bit of a wind, but of course, nothing like this past weekend. You really have to bundle up to be out here. We saw people today with their hands over their ears and their cheeks to stay warm from the cold, and unfortunately, it appears that it's going to stick around for a while. Following a weekend of winter storms, the temperature in Manitoba is dropping, so it's not ideal to be outside.
Waiting for the bus is chilly, and I can't wait to get in, but the buses have been on time.
Environment and Climate Change Canada says Arctic air is moving in behind the storms that just rolled through, and don't expect any relief this week.
So that's going to mean temperatures into maybe the higher minus 20s, maybe even minus 30s as you get towards the end of the week and into the weekend. And of course, with the wind chill feeling likely into the minus 40s.
The extreme cold is putting pressure on the shelter system as people try to escape the elements.
We are seeing an increased number of individuals using our services. Because it is cold, we are actually seeing more frostbite.
The City of Winnipeg is also reminding people they can use public facilities to warm up when they're open. The cold is also hard on vehicles. CAA says as of midday Monday, they've had 630 calls for service, more than half of those for dead batteries.
As the cold weather kind of lingers and stays on, or the extreme cold weather, that we will be seeing those elevated call volumes come up just as more batteries start to fail.
Your home is also vulnerable. The city offers tips on its website to keep your pipes from freezing, including insulating them, seal air leaks around baseboards, windows, doors, and electrical outlets, insulate unheated areas like garages and attics, disconnect outdoor hoses, drain and shut off the water supply leading to outdoor faucets, leave outdoor taps slightly open to allow any remaining water to expand when freezing, and open kitchen, bathroom, or laundry cabinets to allow warm air to circulate around plumbing. And while many of us suffer during these cold spells, there are some who embrace it.
I love the winter.
Now, the cold weather also forced the closure of several schools outside of Winnipeg.
Jeff, what should drivers do to make sure their vehicles start in this weather?
Yeah, some common sense tips from CAA. Obviously, plug it in if you can. Keep it indoors if you can, like a garage. And, check your battery. A lot of batteries, they just have a 3 to 5 year lifespan, so you want to get on that.
All right, get inside and warm up. Thanks, Jeff. Colleen Brady is the bearer of bad news tonight. Brace yourself, folks, because I saw this forecast and it's frightening.
Well, that is certainly one word for it. That's for sure. Merrily, the bill has come in for those mild days we had in the front end of January, and now it's time to pay up because, it's not going to let up very much in the next couple of days temperature-wise. It's going to be a very cold week, the coldest week so far of the winter season. And if you think it's been cold today, just wait until we get until the latter part of the week. It's going to be even colder out there. I will reluctantly show you those forecast temperatures coming up, but for now, let's take a look at the CTV Live Eye. It is brought to you by Bath Fitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution. In Winnipeg right now, it's minus 22 and clear. With the wind chill, it feels like minus 31. Winds out of the west-southwest at 16 kilometers an hour. The pressure is dropping and the humidity right now merrily is 69%.
Thanks, Colleen. 2 multi-vehicle crashes Friday shut down the Trans-Canada Highway, leaving drivers with nowhere to go until residents of Oakville stepped up.
Absolutely amazing. Overwhelming. My phone lit up, social media lit up, the hall filled with people dropping stuff off.
Karen Olafson and her husband Devin opened Oakville Community Center Friday afternoon for stranded travelers. Olafson says Mounties escorted motorists to the community center, and when they learned the highway closures could remain overnight, they took to social media and the community answered. Within hours, the center was filled with food and bedding for the 90 or so travelers who ended up in Oakville.
But I mean, that was just so overwhelming with how quickly everybody came together and how my phone lit up with how can I help, right? It was, do you need me there? What can I bring? What do you need? It was truly amazing.
6 local families even took travelers into their homes for the night. Karen says the response showed the strength of the small Manitoba community. An upgrade at Health Sciences Center is helping speed up minimally invasive surgery for patients with brain tumors and other neurological conditions.
In this room, something special, almost magical happens.
The new Gamma Knife stereostatic radiosurgery equipment unit was unveiled earlier today. It provides focused gamma radiation on a tumor, allowing patients to undergo brain surgery with almost no incision. Officials say the upgraded system will allow HSC to treat more patients more efficiently and effectively.
With the new Esprit, patients often come in for their treatment before breakfast and return home for lunch. A dramatic change.
Imaging software within the machine means a patient can undergo an MRI days before instead of the day of treatment. The machine also provides flexibility to treat patients with larger and more complex tumors. Around 5,000 patients have undergone the treatment since the first Gamma Knife was introduced at HSC in 2003. Officials expect to treat 250 patients a year with the new system. It was funded through an HSC Foundation and provincial partnership. 2 levels of government and 3 of the province's top transportation organizations have agreed to work together to expand Manitoba's trade network. Officials have unveiled the Ports of Manitoba project, a memorandum of understanding involving the provincial and federal governments, along with the Winnipeg Airports Authority, Centerport Canada, and the Arctic Gateway Group. Under the terms, all 5 groups agree to mutually support each other to create one cohesive supply chain with the goal of moving products as efficiently as possible through the Port of Churchill out to international markets.
We're here because the world has changed. Global trade routes are shifting, supply chains are strained, and countries everywhere are scrambling to secure reliable ways to move goods. Canada is not immune, and Manitoba has felt these pressures in agriculture, in critical minerals, and across the northern supply chain.
Well, none of today's speakers mentioned the United States or Donald Trump. They all alluded to the changing nature of international trade and emphasized the need to develop stronger supply routes through the Port of Churchill. The Premier, however, was a bit more direct.
So Canada has a lot of great plans for the future, but there is only one port and one rail line that feeds the Arctic, and that would be absolutely essential for us to maintain sovereignty in Canada's Arctic, and that is at Churchill, and that is in Manitoba. So if you're thinking whatever about Trump, if you're thinking whatever about Greenland, think Churchill. That is Canada's answer to what is going on right now. And by the way, it's Canada's answer for how do we grow our economy, how do we become less dependent on the U.S.
Well, Canoe was referencing Trump's stated aspirations of taking control of Greenland in defiance of European leaders. We'll have more on that coming up a bit later. The city is looking for someone to provide 24-hour outreach services to those living in encampments. A request for proposals now online outlines a long list of responsibilities. It includes casework to help people quickly transition into safe housing, warning people about legal issues from occupying public land, providing safety checks and transfers to shelters, and helping to remove garbage. They would also need to report quarterly on how many people are living in encampments. The RFP states the city has about $387,000 available for the contract, which closes February 10th. Late Winnipeg City Councillor Jason Schreier's push for affordable groceries lives on, and it's getting bigger. The Jason Schreier Grocery Access Program moved to St. Gerard's School after first launching at the Morse Place Community Centre in July. The program started with pantry staples like soup, cereal, and canned goods. Now the program fills the school gym on the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Saturdays every month from 1 to 4 p.m. with even more offerings from freezer and dairy sections. The program has grown so much it's now a full-time job to run it.
I spend days hauling food. I store it everywhere I possibly can, and I find a big part of this is just finding sale prices in the flyers and getting the stores to allow what they call a waiver limit. So they'll waive the limits and allow me to do basically group shopping for the community.
Volunteers say the program boosts confidence for the families who rely on it, with some placing group orders for neighbors who aren't mobile. Schreier's assistant says the former councillor often hauled food late at night, filling his own living room with supplies before his passing. Still to come tonight, Canada considers sending troops to Greenland amid Trump's push for ownership.
Perhaps, unspoken, the Allies will think of that as a way of changing Trump's risk calculus.
How many troops could soon be on the ground and the potential risks for our country? That's next. Taking a look at the markets tonight, crude oil closed flat. The loonie jumped just above 72 cents U.S. Gold futures added $81. The TSX rose 50 points. The American markets were closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Inflation in Canada ticked up slightly last month to 2.4% compared to December 2024. That's when Ottawa implemented a GST break, which helped bring prices down. But for Canadians struggling to make ends meet, expenses are still headed in the wrong direction. CTV's Geneviève Beauchemin has more on the struggle at the grocery store.
In these cookies, there's a secret ingredient.
You have a passion for coffee.
I'm obsessed, a little bit.
Stephanie Presta started a home business, Montreal Latte Heart, combining that shot of caffeine with another passion, baking.
So I infuse my cookies with my coffee, and the coffee makes the flavors really come out of the cookies.
But that is now a recipe for higher costs. The latest Statistics Canada inflation numbers show coffee went up 30% annually, and that sweets were also pricier.
Weather variability and lower yields just means that there's less coffee beans being produced and there's more global demand. That's driving the prices up.
A similar story has unfolded for beef prices. They're up 16%. The cattle stock in Canada is low, boosting prices. Coffee and beef are the main staples that saw a 5% hike annually for grocery items. But overall, many economists see some positive signs for food inflation in the report.
If you take out beef and some of the secondary effects on proteins, take out coffee, take out a couple of other things that have had extreme weather issues, the news is relatively optimistic for food prices going forward.
For Presta, relief from rising prices could mean investing in her passions is worth all the hard work.
There were moments this Christmas where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
And with the cost of dining out going up too, it's hard to find a treat at a sweet price. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Montreal.
Closer to home, Manitoba recorded the highest increase to the inflation rate last month. Our province saw a 3.7% hike year over year in December. That's up from 3.3% a month earlier. Canada's ultra wealthy are getting wealthier and at a much faster rate than other Canadians. There are now at least 89 billionaires in Canada. According to a new report, the wealth of Canada's 40 richest people grew by more than 20% last year to almost $550 billion. And the country's wealthiest 1% now hold almost as much wealth as the bottom 80% of the population. A senior government source tells CTV News Ottawa is thinking about sending a small contingent of soldiers to participate in NATO training exercises in Greenland. CTV's Mike LeCouture reports on the balancing act as Trump threatens additional tariffs on other EU countries over this.
The picturesque landscape of Greenland could soon host a handful of Canadian soldiers. The members of our military would participate in training exercises with a number of European allies.
They framed it as a long-planned military exercise.
Canada's former ambassador to NATO says these deployments were originally planned to deter Russian action, but it could have the same effect on President Trump.
Trump is taking it as a message, and perhaps, unspoken, the allies will think of that as a way of changing Trump's risk calculus.
Canada's troop commitment would likely be less than the dozen soldiers Germany is sending to Greenland. Still, there could be blowback for Canada as U.S. President Donald Trump is threatening tariffs on any ally that sends troops.
Just to show the Americans that, you can't push around a NATO ally and threaten to take over a country against their will.
To minimize the political fallout, some suggest appealing to Trump in a different way.
Try to turn the tables a little bit and say, let's all be in this together when it comes to the defense of the Arctic in North America, rather than make it appear as if somehow we're marshaling a force to defend Greenland from the Americans.
NBC News is also reporting Trump is complaining to aides about Canada's vulnerability in the Arctic. That's despite Canada already committing $6 billion to an over-the-horizon radar system for the far north.
We have to do more in our Arctic, but we also have to be kind of calm. More important thing is to work with our Arctic allies to deter and to get ready for any threat.
But the source of that threat in a rapidly changing geopolitical landscape depends on where you are in the world. Mike LeCouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
There's plenty of renewed support for Greenland after Trump said starting February 8th, European countries will be charged a 10% tariff for opposing U.S. control of the island.
Decision about the future status of Greenland belongs to the people of Greenland and the Kingdom of Denmark alone. That right is fundamental, and we support it.
It's so important that all our allies in the NATO alliance and the European Union stand up for these principles to show the American president you have a desire, you have a vision, you have a request, but you will never be able to achieve that by putting pressure on us.
More Danish troops arrived in Greenland today for winter training and to strengthen NATO's footprint in the region. Copenhagen says the soldiers are there as part of an expanded exercise in close cooperation with alliance allies. Denmark and Greenland have proposed a NATO mission in the autonomous territory. Today marks the start of a federal program which offers compensation to owners of banned firearms who turn in their guns. Some 25,000 guns, including the AR-15, have been outlawed since May of 2020. Owners of these guns have until March 31st of this year to declare ownership and receive compensation on a first-come, first-served basis. If owners of the banned weapons have not disposed of them by October 30th of this year, they could face prosecution. Normally, he's selling cattle, but when a Verdun auctioneer heads to the World Championships this summer, he's going to be trying to sell himself as the best in the business.
Pounds, here we go. All right, let's have a sale. How much here?
36-year-old Brennan Jack is making his 11th consecutive trip to the World Livestock Auctioneer Championships in South Dakota in June. He's placed among the top 10 on 10 separate occasions and made runner-up just last year. Now, Jack says he made his first sale, a horse, at the young age of 9. At 16, he took a 3-day course and started working as an auctioneer officially as soon as he graduated high school. He placed third in the most recent qualifiers, punching his ticket to the Worlds once again.
You know, I don't consider myself old. I'm 36, but I am kind of an old dog, being that I've competed 11 times now, and I've got guys that come up to me that are 20 that are competing, and they're like, "Oh man, I used to watch you when I was 6 and 7 years old, and I thought you were the best." And I thought, how old am I? This is crazy, but it's fun.
On the line is a cash prize, a diamond ring, and the coveted title of world champion. The World Livestock Auctioneer Championship is scheduled for the 3rd week in June in Deadwood, South Dakota. There's snowdrifts, and then there is this. Where in the world residents are digging out from under snow piles as big as buildings?
And to pile on the long-range forecast for Winnipeg. Well, -14 on Wednesday. That's the closest temperature to normal we're going to get in the next few days. Take a look at this, folks. Yeah, well below normal, both the highs and the lows by Thursday. What a difference between those 2 days. A high of just -26 under a mix of sun and cloud. Look at Friday. Sunny, a high of just -28 degrees, a low of -34. Into the weekend, -26 on Saturday, mostly sunny, a mix of sun and cloud Sunday with a high of -21.
Central Canada has been slammed by heavy snowfall in recent days, but it is nothing compared to what happened in Russia's Far East. I can't even believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing here, but that is a car way down there. It's being called the biggest snowfall in at least 60 years in the country's Kamchatka Peninsula. A howling winter storm buried cities under heavy snow, with snow drifts in some areas reaching the 4th floor of nearby buildings. Video posted to Russian social media shows locals walking on snow drifts alongside traffic lights.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen, it has to be that bad to make what you're about to tell us seem a little milder.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this where we say it could be worse?
I guess so. We tried really hard for you today to help you with your forecast.
Well, mission accomplished, because it could be worse, but yeah. Very cold night ahead, and as I showed you the long-range forecast, a very cold week ahead. There are no cold warnings in effect right now in Manitoba or northwestern Ontario, but warning or not, just brace yourself for very cold overnight lows I'm about to show you, and even colder feeling wind chills. We have that Arctic air that's locked onto our region after that Clipper system zipped by yesterday, creating those blizzard-like conditions in some parts of southern Manitoba. Next door, northwestern Ontario, very similar conditions. For the most part, fairly clear, a little bit of cloud here and there, but that won't do anything to mitigate temperatures overnight. It'll be pretty cold there as well. Not quite as cold as on the Manitoba side of the border, but still cold, as it will be tonight in northern Manitoba. Here's a look at the current wind chill values. It feels as cold as -45 up in Churchill. Over in Lynn Lake, it feels like -38 here in the south. We have wind chills in the upper -20s and low -30s here in Winnipeg. For instance, it feels like -32. The night ahead, well, starts off fairly clear across the province. Then we'll see a little bit of cloud cover pick up overnight in the south. And then look at this. Now, this is a weak Clipper system, and it's going to be battling against this very strong Arctic high pressure. Some of that snow might slip through places like Flin Flon, Norway House, the Paw. Outside chance we could see a little bit of snow come through the south tomorrow afternoon, but there you can see it there up in the northwest. And again, the chance is pretty low, but it is picking up a bit on the future cast, so just don't be surprised if you see a little bit of it. As we get into the day tomorrow, or on Wednesday, there is the good chance we'll see a mix of sun and cloud, an outside chance of a little bit of snow as well. Minus 26 is our overnight low tonight. For Winnipeg, partly cloudy, winds out of the west at 15 kilometers an hour. Plug in your car if you can. Minus 23 will be the commute temperature around 8 in the morning. Mix of sun and cloud. Winds still out of the west at 15. They'll shift. They'll come out of the southwest. They don't strengthen. But again, there's that low chance of snow picking up. Otherwise, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of minus 16 degrees. So tomorrow and Wednesday, a bit of a break, but it's going to get so much colder by Thursday. Light snow falling now in Gillam. It's drifting too. That should come to an end fairly early this evening. Then you drop down to minus 30 degrees. Similar temperatures around the region. Thompson tomorrow up to minus 20 under a mix of sun and cloud. Gillam minus 23. Clear this evening through the northwest. Some clouds overnight. Temperatures in the minus 20s overnight. Again, a good chance of snow coming through tomorrow with highs between minus 16 and minus 18. Clear tonight in the southwest. Brandon, Neepawa minus 27 overnight. Dauphin and Swan River down to minus 24. Clouding over tomorrow. Temperatures in the mid-minus teens. Winnipeg in the southeast. Varying amounts of cloud tonight. Overnight lows in the mid-minus 20s. Even colder. Minus 26 for Winnipeg. Mix of sun and cloud around the region tomorrow with that low chance of snow. Highs for most of us minus 17, minus 18 degrees. And in northwestern Ontario, partly cloudy for most areas. Overnight lows in the mid-minus 20s. A mix of sun and cloud around the region with temperatures between minus 17 and minus 19. Now this photo is from Bob. Look at all that blowing snow. You can see it blowing on the top of that snowbank there. That is out in Carmen, of course, with the weather that came through this weekend. My goodness. And this photo is from Dan, taken in Cartier, just west of Winnipeg. Send us your weather photos by email to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have locked up 3 more core pieces ahead of the 2026 CFL season. Right guard Pat Neufeld is back for a 12th season with the blue and gold. The offensive lineman is a 3-time CFL All-Star and a perennial leader in the Bombers' locker room. Meantime, kicker Sergio Castillo is back on a 2-year extension. He's coming off a 2025 season where he connected on 85% of his field goal attempts. And Castillo's punting counterpart, Jameson Sheehan, is also returning to the Bombers on a 1-year deal. All 3 players were slated to become free agents in February. The CFL regular season kicks off in June. Well, it's a game fans of 2 NHL franchises have had circled on their calendar for a while. Jonathan Toews and the Winnipeg Jets are in Chicago tonight to take on the Blackhawks in a Central Division showdown. It's a homecoming for Toews at his longtime home away from home, where he cemented his championship legacy. CTV's Joseph Bernacki reports.
It's always fun to feel the energy when you come back to Chicago, so it's nice to be back.
Winnipeg Jets forward Jonathan Toews is coming home after stepping away for 2 years. The Jets take the ice tonight against their Central Division foe, the Chicago Blackhawks. For Toews, it's a return to the barn where he cemented Chicago sports history, captaining a team to 3 Stanley Cup championships.
It's a weird situation. You don't get games like this all the time, obviously.
Toews' return to hockey was a welcome one for many Jets and Blackhawks fans. The 37-year-old had 4 consecutive games with a goal in the Jets' last 5 matchups, notching his 900th career NHL point and helping the club win 4 of their last 5.
Jonathan Toews with .900.
Seeing the veteran contribute to the score sheet is captivating the followers of Captain Sirius.
He's getting on the first power play, and I think just getting those reps and getting those touches has made a big difference for him. Even as decorated as he is, confidence is everything.
Tyler Riel grew up playing hockey with Toews and have been friends since they were little. He says tonight's matchup will be an emotional one for the former Blackhawks captain.
Imagine going back to a place that you called home for 15 years, and you brought all the pride and you brought all the glory to that city and what he meant to be as a captain.
The Jets took the first of 4 matches with the Hawks on October 30th, winning 6-3 at home. The Blackhawks currently sit 1 point above the Jets in the bottom of the Central Division standings. Jets head coach Scott Arniel says Toews' recent play has bolstered the team's secondary scoring, and the matchup presents a special moment.
These are special for everybody, and I think that everybody will enjoy it, but I'm sure Jonathan wants to get through it.
Ahead of puck drop, Chicago Blackhawks beat writers say Toews' leadership is unmatched in their franchise's century of history.
He did wear his heart on his sleeve. He was kind of that down-to-earth leader of the team.
Jonathan Toews was absolutely the leader in the room and the engine that drove the whole thing. They grew up watching Jonathan Toews the way that, the previous generation grew up watching Michael Jordan, and, realize how long and hard it was between championships.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Puck drop at the United Center tonight is 7:30.
The Hockey Report, brought to you by Santa Lucia Pizza. Check out the game day special.
Today is Blue Monday, said to be the saddest day of the year. But is there any science behind that claim? I'm going to chat with an expert when we return. Today is Blue Monday, a day thought by at least some to be the most depressing day of the year. And whether you believe that or not, there is no denying this time of year when it's cold and dark earlier, it can definitely be a bit of a downer. So joining me now to talk more about what's behind these winter blues and how we can fight them off is Kristen Reynolds, an associate professor and director of clinical training in the Department of Psychology at the U of M. Kristen, good to speak with you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, the designation of Blue Monday, I understand, came from a UK travel company and has pretty much been debunked. We do know that stress, low mood, even fatigue are pretty common in winter. Why is that?
Yeah, pretty common in winter, and especially for Canadians. And there are many reasons, one being routine. So as human beings, our bodies thrive on routine and balance. And January is often a time where people are getting back into routines, work schedules, school schedules, activities, maybe returning from holiday. And so these changes in routines can all build up that stress and challenge sort of settling in for our nervous system. And we also know that with changes in routine, there's often change in sleep pattern as well. And when our sleep-wake patterns are impacted, we're going to see those changes, corresponding changes in our mood, including our stress response. You also mentioned that cold weather, the reduced sunlight, that plays a big factor in our energy level and our mood. When we're seeing less hours of daylight, it's going to affect our vitamin D, our serotonin, and really make an impact on mood, on appetite, on sleep, all of which contribute to our regulation as humans in the world.
You know, speaking of energy, for those of us feeling low energy thanks to these winter blues, movement actually can really help.
Absolutely. And a lot of the science talks about, particularly in the winter, if people can move when it's earlier in the day, if they can combine that movement with sunlight, that's going to both help the body and mind wake up, experience maybe some more vitamin D that our bodies need and crave, and help with our sleep-wake pattern, help with that circadian rhythm in our body by letting us know it's daylight, it's time to move, and then helping us wind down in the evening too, and allowing our body's melatonin to kick in when it's the evening time and it's darker outside. So that activity can be a really important reset in our circadian rhythm and in our mood and sleep schedule as well.
As you know, we are in the midst of an awful cold snap right now, which makes outdoor movements a little more challenging right now. What other practical, realistic ways can you recommend for us to kind of take care of ourselves during this tough, long winter season?
Yeah, absolutely. So one would be gaining access to sunlight in ways that we can. So part of that might even be opening the drapes in the morning, keeping our curtains open during the day so we can get that sunlight. If we can open a door, get outside even for a brief period of time, that is helpful. If there are community programs that we can go to in our lives, in our neighborhoods, that can be helpful as well. The benefits of connecting socially, especially at this time, cannot be overstated. There are so many wonderful benefits to social connection where the brain will release oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin during positive social interactions, which can ward off stress, build up immunity, and just really be quite good for us. So the endorphin boost from exercise, from moving in whatever ways we can in our environments, as well as getting connected socially. Even that's over Zoom, like this, or over the telephone, or in person. That social connection can really help at these cold and hard times of year.
Well, hang in there, because I checked. 59 days to spring, Kristen. We're almost there.
I love it.
Thanks so much for the
Looking
tips.
forward.
It was great speaking with you.
You as well. Thanks for having me.
Health Canada has announced a national recall for a baby stroller. Officials describe as a choking hazard. The recall states the grab bar of the stroller is accessible to a child and contains foam material which may release small parts, posing a choking hazard. The 3-in-1 stroller, manufactured by the brand Infans, does not meet Canadian regulations. 270 strollers were sold here in Canada over the past 2 years. No incidents or injuries have been reported. Pneumonia was one of the leading causes of death in 2024, but some experts say public health measures during the pandemic led to fewer cases of pneumonia.
The overall death rate from pneumonia dropped during COVID because of that. So we're probably seeing the rebound effect following all those public health measures in COVID. And, we're now having COVID, influenza, RSV circulate, and we're probably seeing a rebound effect from that.
A new report shows respiratory illnesses moved to the 6th leading cause of death, with more than 7,000 deaths. That's up from being 8th the previous year.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manukin Koster Denture Clinic.
Many of the things we take for granted will one day pass away completely.
An upset at the weekend box office and another feather in the cap for actor Timothée Chalamet. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the Roadhammers with Doc Walker.
Canadian director James Cameron's Avatar: Fire and Ash continues to dominate the North American box office. The third installment of the blockbuster fantasy raked in an additional $13.3 million in sales. It now boasts its 5th straight week at the top. 28 years later, The Bone Temple secured second place with $13 million. It fell slightly short of expectations despite strong reviews and a 93% Rotten Tomatoes score. Disney's Zootopia 2 rounded out the top 3 with $8.8 million.
I don't think you understand the stakes here. Find that funny? I get nervous laughter sometimes.
Meantime, a milestone for movie studio A24, Marty Supreme, the drama starring Timothée Chalamet, has topped $80 million at the domestic box office. That makes it the best ever release by A24. The previous record holder was Oscar Best Picture winner Everything Everywhere All at Once with $77 million. Italian designer Valentino Garavani has died at the age of 93. His foundation announced his death, saying the funeral will take place on Friday. The designer, who was usually known only by his first name, was the founder of the famed Valentino brand, which he turned into a business empire. He was also the recipient of several awards and honors, including the Golden Plate Award of the American Academy of Achievement and the Medal of the City of Paris. Canada's own Rachel McAdams is getting her own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Why didn't you write me? Why? It wasn't over for me. I waited for you for 7 years.
Originally from St. Thomas, Ontario, the actress is known for her performances in classic movies, including The Notebook and Mean Girls, and her Oscar-nominated role in 2015's Spotlight. The 47-year-old's on-screen career has spanned more than 2 decades. A ceremony honoring McAdams with the star is set for Tuesday. Your Monday primetime lineup is full of high-pressure experiences of first responders. 3 episodes of 911 starting at 7. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, minus 19 was the high. Yeah, it was cold today, but it was considerably colder on this day 1 year ago, almost minus 25 degrees. Minus 26 is our low tonight, partly cloudy. There's a slight chance of afternoon snow tomorrow, minus 18, minus 14 Wednesday, and then the deep freeze really locks in for the next few days.
Yikes. Thanks, Colleen. A beloved stuffed sloth will soon be back in the loving arms of its owner right here in Winnipeg, all thanks to some help from a Canadian vacationing in Mexico.
Slothy has been in our family since my daughter was a baby.
Stacey Burridge's 5-year-old daughter, Sage, who you see here, takes Slothy with her everywhere, including to Puerto Vallarta last week. But after a canceled flight, a change of hotel, and a rush to pack, the beloved toy was accidentally left behind. When the error was discovered, Stacey contacted the hotel and posted a request on Facebook asking Canadians still in Mexico if they could look for Slothy. The response was immediate, with Kelowna resident Susan Rollin walking over to the hotel and retrieving the stuffy from the front desk. Both Stacey and Susan say they're overwhelmed by the reaction.
It was crazy, just the outpouring of support.
I am blown away by the support, by the kindness, and how people are excited to see a happy story.
Slothy is currently lounging around at Susan's condo in Mexico. And Sage is said to be very excited he will soon be heading home. The stuffy will be flying back to Manitoba with some other Canadians on Wednesday. Colleen, I'm thinking Slothy saw your forecast and said, yeah, I'm going to stay in Mexico for now.
I think he did, actually. But yeah, glad to see that he'll be coming home.
Sloths aren't made for this weather. Slothy, we'll see you once it warms up. Good night.